Hello, 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 hello.
You are listening to Cursed Sessions with Blossom and Chrissy. Where do you go when the night calls? Are you hiding? You're never alone when the sky falls.
cheese or without, sitting here or there. Hi, we're five.
Deo! Get down!
You are listening to Kush Sessions with Russell and Chrissy.
Something else?
Yeah, it's the same drum beat.
Yeah, okay. What would you suggest? We go,
What about electronic funk? What comes up when you type that?
Electronic funk.
Electronic funk.
Look at that live stream there.
Oh, sorry, if you've typed in... Oh, yeah, no, it's alright.
Electro funk?
No,
Let's
it's
try that.
alright.
Hey?
I was going to say backing track, but it's alright. A lot of the backing tracks are
Oh,
shit.
hang on. Let's this one, alright? It's drum and bass still, but
Mm.
She's so pretty.
Who's that?
Who is this?
It's a good question, mate. Who is that?
I don't know, but Tayo keeps trying to mount her. And
Yeah.
She wasn't having a bar of it.
Bet he is. He's like, you'll come to my
Oh,
home.
she's really nice looking dog.
Look at him, Tayo.
Wow.
Who's your new girlfriend?
Hey,
where is she?
wow. Look at you.
Ah.
She's stunning.
Tayo, out of her ass. Tayo. Look at this. He even loves mango.
Stop cock-blocking him.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's true.
He doesn't get enough.
Mm-mm. Well, they used to have balls and they cut them off.
Yeah,
Oh,
now
that's
he can,
chilling.
Now he can have fun.
Oh, let him go hard. Let him get hard.
Yeah, he can have fun.
Here we go. It's drum and bass again, but we'll see if it's a little different. Okay? Fucking hell.
Yeah, wicked.
Wow.
So good. So good. So good. So good. Yeah. You two.
That's pretty good.
Over here. You needed to get your fork on the bowl or something. Ding 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 ding.
Are you recording it?
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
On YouTube.
You might be in it actually.
yeah.
Wave your hand.
No,
No.
no,
No
it's
quite.
Going this way.
Ah yeah.
It's
That was fun.
so fun, huh?
Wow. Wow.
Good to have a bit of a background beat.
How did
Yeah.
you get this going? Crazy cranked again.
This thing.
All of a sudden.
Put it back on again.
Yeah. I thought it ran out. That's all.
They're not bad for $200.
Very very good. Yamaha.
Eddie jumped on it.
Ah.
Cookie does that.
Good cookie. Hello, new dog. Hello. Dog's bad. Get it, cookie.
Cookie, cookie, cookie. Sugar, sugar.
Can't reach. Cookie, cookie, cookie.
Cookie, cookie, cookie. Honey, honey.
How do you spell orphan?
Orphan. O-R-P-H.
Oh,
A-R-N. Something like that.
P-H, yeah. Orphan. That's it. Xmas. What are you doing for Christmas?
Me?
Yeah.
Could be here.
I was just thinking we'll have a orphan's Christmas.
Orphan's Christmas.
And
Yeah.
just have a
That
chill.
should be fun.
Chill.
Need an orphan's Christmas this Christmas.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's do it.
I'll be back.
You'll be back. Sweet.
What do you reckon his name is? Bob. Bob?
It's a girl.
Straight Bob.
It's a girl.
It is a chick, yeah, you're right. And her name's Bob, apparently.
No, if my dad were, if our dad were to own it from the day I was born, he probably would have called it girl.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Well, that's what he was going to name Scarlet.
name is Girl. I never met you.
No, good night. Sleep well. You're also at the yoga tomorrow?
Sorry?
At the yoga?
Oh no, I won't be there.
No.
Good night, bro.
Okay.
See ya.
My name
See
is
you guys.
Girl.
Sleep.
It's a mushroom.
Oh, that's mine.
How's that cannabis?
No,
What?
bro.
Hey,
I haven't
no.
had it yet.
Oh, okay, sweet. Well, enjoy.
I want
You
to
go to sleep.
Okay, here we go.
Sleep tight, don't let the demons bite.
Alright, guys.
Yeah, sleep tonight. Yeah, sleep tomorrow.
See you there at 8.
The night is casting shadows as I follow you along, down rivers into open fields, you're running on and on. Sometimes you turn around and to see me falling far behind. I'm trying to keep up with you, but I feel you running blind. You must leave.
Hello?
What you can't control, what you can't control. Can you leave everything
Hey guys.
you cannot control? Can you let it go? You must leave everything you can't control. You can't control. Can't control. Can't control.
I'm gonna pause it now.
Yeah, if you do
Actually
this,
talk. Hey.
and then you get a bit of.
Hey guys, can you hear me? How we going? It's probably a bit light on now. Self-control. Oh. Yeah, those speakers, that's... Hello, how you going? Can you hear me? Beautiful. Nice. Well, that was the intro to How to Change the World at the Lighthouse.
The one and only.
The one and only Lighthouse. Well, hopefully there's more, but there's one here anyway. We have beautiful, creative people here in our little community. That's, I think, what makes a community thrive is creative people. Musicians, artists, gardeners. Yeah, there's just, or chefs, you know, like there's so many ways people can be creative and be passionate, follow their passions. So that's what we want to create here, is a place where people can, like, we all work together, but we all have our little passions that we grow. So if it's, maybe it's teaching yoga, so you put on yoga classes, and there's lots of people who stay here are able to so I'm just checking the sound. Yeah, the people who stay here are able to make, like, have income from their passions. If you're growing veggies, you can sell the vegetables or trade them internal into the community, or you can then export them out to the outer communities. So there's a real I believe, obviously we haven't created it yet, but the plan is to have many creative spaces, and that allows people to create. If you've got the space available, say you've got a pottery wheel, and some clay, instantly someone's going to get on there and start doing things. But you got to have it available. So we create amazing spaces that are like, this is our barn, our communal area, and it's all second-hand material. It just makes for a very beautiful space, a very unique space. And then all the artwork that's appeared in here over time, since different people have come through. So it's been it's like, it's created this amazing space that's unique in the world, and that's amazing. I keep saying amazing, but so we want to do that. Create a big studio, a play shop, like 30 by 12 meters. We've got a 40-foot sea container. So we build off that with all second-hand materials, and then we can have, like, I want to have a pyramid in the center, like in the roof. It's like using that as a help bring creative energy from the earth, well, from below and from above. So that's one of the next projects we want to do. But yeah, it's creating all these spaces that are so, just allow creativity to flourish. And so we have a dome here. It's like 11.5 meter diameter, and it's beautiful space, really magical. How it's been made. The guys that made it did an amazing job, and it's made us scaffold. But yeah, you have to see it to believe it. But it allows things. We can hang silks from the roof. So there you go. There's a silk workshop someone can run, or we can hang trapeze. There's circus workshops. Whatever. This is the thing, is like just allowing people. They come here and say, okay, there's the space. Create away. So that's been the journey. But we have to have the spaces, right? When we first built the barn, it opened up the space. It changed the whole vibe of the whole place. So we want to extend with a kitchen and make this more living area. And the kitchen will just be here, extend out, and this will be open into the outdoors. So that'll change the whole vibe of the place. Again, every little step forward. I've got some. Just turn off one of these speakers. How's that? Is that better? Oh yeah, that might be better. Less likely to get some dish rattling noise. So yeah, so building communities, but creative communities where we really flourish. You have, yeah, where amazing people can create a way, and then we become like this hub of exporting goods and services to the nearby community, and then further away as well. So yeah, there's it's a win-win for everybody. So what I wanted to talk about tonight was I have an idea for how to change the world, and I want to start talking about it. And I thought, okay, let's do a live stream, and at least the more I talk about it, the more I can put it into better words and start to convey the idea, because I really think it's a way that we can change the world. I actually think I know it is, and yeah, we can really make a huge difference in the world. And the crux of it is obviously bringing people into communities again. We've been experimenting here for the last 2 years as to, well, I have been, maybe unknowingly sometimes, but having a community here and then sort of managing it and making the rules and guiding the place and the people. So I actually learned quite a huge amount. Amazing how much I've learned, and also just to be able to learning to commune with others has been a huge one. But what we did here was, I guess you could say, unique, because we just had free. There were no rules for like last summer, and we probably at most we maybe had 100 people here, like staying. No rules, and that was like a fascinating experiment, because actually the place ran pretty well. There wasn't, we didn't get, for the amount of people, we didn't get lots of productivity on buildings and things, but just the place, people were having fun, they were healing, they were connecting with others, they were, like painting. If you look around in here, people were doing all sorts of things, but there was no forced effort to get people to do jobs. And one thing we did learn actually was, in that scenario where you don't have times for people to start work, you don't even ask them to work. It's all up to them. And when you don't ask them to work, what we found worked really well was having like working bees. And it's basically every Thursday we did it, where we had a working bee. So it was just everyone got together. So it was like a bit of a team effort. We might have like 10 or 15 people all helping on mostly was for the garden. And it was amazing, because it's work, but it's not, because you're hanging out with people, and it's really fun to work with people. So it actually ends up being like play. We were like a free society in a tiny little on a tiny little farm in Western Australia, and it was really amazing to see. Now, and I learned so much about many things. But one thing I realised, and we've only just had a few learnings from it just in the last week, where it's essential to have the right.
Did you cook pasta, no?
Ma did. You can go for it, man.
Yeah, because I just drained it and things, it was still hot.
Oh, really? No, I don't know. Don't know. Maybe these guys cooked it.
Yeah, I asked. They cooked a different pasta.
Oh, okay.
No, isn't
yeah, so living in community as in the barn right now, and yeah, there's Monty, someone cooking pasta. I'm gonna just pause for a sec. Hang on a sec. Where'd you come from, Papa Dog?
Dann haben wir so ein Haus gemietet mit mehreren und dann machen wir Weihnachten wahrscheinlich alle zusammen. Und dann müssen wir gucken, Silvester und so. Doch. Ja, wir müssen hinfliegen. Aber es ist irgendwie müssen wir irgendwelche Plätze buchen, also reservieren. Und deswegen waren wir noch nicht so hinterher. Müssen wir mal gucken, wie wir das machen. Aber ja, das ist ein bisschen komplizierter so mäßig. Ja, aber sonst echt cool.
I was actually saying, Rolly's a hot property these days.
Mate, if the end of the world happens,
Willst du Mia gehen dann?
Rollies are gonna be fucking like you're gonna make a lot of money. Like honestly, we should be buying, stocking up.
Mate, they're only $2 a packet. Just in case. You know? It's fair cool. $2 a packet, man.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah, you'd be selling it $100.
Aber geht eigentlich, für Silvester ist okay.
They're perfect for rolling cigarettes, right? You probably then you get into rolling
Dann gehst du mit der Perle dahin.
tobacco leaf ones.
We'll go to pipes, man.
Yeah, that's true. But it's nice to have a rollie though.
Pipes are easy to make.
Irgendwie
Wood, anything.
geil, dann macht die
Toilet
Aktion
paper.
raus.
You got both.
Das ist mega gut.
Okay, yes, I'm back. I'm just rolling a cigarette slash joint. Actually, it's going to be all joint because I don't have any more tobacco. Which is what we were. It's like, why is tobacco so illegal? You know? You can't even have a plant. It's like $70,000 fine in Australia. It's like, yeah, 70,000 for one plant. It's a federal offence. So yeah, I have my theories, but we're not talking about that at the moment. We're talking about changing the world and doing it through building communities. And yeah, so I've like come on some ideas on how we build communities, and we build them in a way that is successful, because I don't know of any, like, I'm sure there's great communities happening all over the world, but they all seem to be like quite small scale. And so my desire is to go to like larger size communities, like more than 50 people. Like, why can't you have 1,000 people all in one community? And this is the thing that's been like, it was because you see this, when there's disharmony in a community, you see how quickly it all falls apart. And if you look at most communities and like history of communities, there's always conflict. It's like, wow, even if everyone's got the best intentions, but it's just different people. And so it's like, what do? How do you have a community without like being fully open and allowing all to come? Like, I think when you start to have to pick, that causes problems. So you really don't want to have to pick, because you're just using your mind. You're not. It's too hard. There's too many variables on a person. I mean, you're going to get a good idea of people, but it's like you'd rather not. I guess is the point. You'd rather not have to. Anyway, so my point is that you're going to have people that are all like, if you view people on the vibration that like their frequency, what we found here is like over the summer, last summer we had an amazing group of travellers that had been travelling around Australia for 3 years, and they all knew each other. There's probably like 100 people though. They'd been trapped in Australia, but fortunately it was not a prison. It was like their heaven, because they got to just live an amazing life for 3 years and connect, where usually people are always flying away. So this way it was, people were confined. They couldn't go anywhere other than Australia. So so we had, a large group of those travellers here, and it was, but they were all on the same vibration and the same frequency, and that's why you could have these no laws, no rules, because they were all in harmony with themselves and each other. So everyone was looking out for each other and helping each other. There was a lot of open heart, so much open heart over the summer. It was amazing, a truly amazing experience to be involved in. So, and then I've been like through winter, and we had a lot very different energies and different people with different energies. And then spring, we've had a few different energies again. It's like, and it's upsetting the space, and it's like, okay, well, obviously you've got to guard that energy you want to keep in your community with your life. It's like you should do that with your own frequency of like where you sit, where you want to sit. If you want to sit in that high vibration of joy and happiness, then you don't want anyone to take that away from you. If it's going to be taken away, then you don't do it, right? It's holding that frequency is very important. But to hold it there, you got to have done, there's work involved. Not being triggered by things, etc.
Aber wenn ich denen so sage, sind die Hüpfen so, und dann hören die das und dann auf einmal sagst du so, ja, ich schneide dir das jetzt und so, dann wissen die das genau.
So, the frequency is everything. Like, I think Tesla said that frequency and something were very important. I should have a look at that quote. I listen to Joe Rogan a lot, and he just asked Jamie to do this. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, right, this is the quote. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Energy, frequency, and vibration. So think of that in terms of a community, and even think of individual people. We're all vibrating at a given frequency. And then you could also say, well, frequency, but then you also have different amplitudes of that frequency. Yeah. So if you think of just the individual person, you can have people on different frequencies, different vibes. They're interested in different things. They have different interests. They have different, maybe even morals, different belief systems. So there's like many varieties of people, different frequencies. So when you create a community, you need to create a community with the same frequency, and that's essential. And I've really seen that here. It's like, as soon as that frequency, someone with a slightly different frequency, usually what happens is that person comes and doesn't really feel the vibe, right? Feel the vibe. Then they will leave. But recently we had someone that was not feeling the vibe, but also didn't want to leave, and that's where, for me, I realized how important it is to hold a vibration. You can't allow that to drop away. Like, this is your chosen vibration in your community, and you need to keep it at that, if not elevate it. That elevation would be is the goal, to be honest. So yeah, you've got to hold that for yourself and for the community, and then you could go larger, your tribe, and then your city. Like, that should be the main game. Holding the vibration you want for your community, your city, your family. So we need to be there, and we're not going to let anything come between that. Because we all know once we start dropping, fine, it's okay to drop every now, like throughout time we fall, and that's okay. But it's obviously good if you can, the quicker you get up, bring yourself back to that vibration. And I think when you start to give it your utmost priority, I'm going to hold this no matter what, become selfish or selfish, become selfish, and that is essential, because it's everything. If you're overflowing with energy and life and joy, suddenly then you have so much to share with people. But before then, you don't. You've got to think of yourself. And if you stop overflowing because of something, then you should be selfish. That is your priority, is to be overflowing with life. And it's possible for everybody. But you have to go there first. You've actually got to aim for that self-development until you get to that point where you're overflowing with life. And then you can help many, many people. So anyway, I digress, they say. Digress. I don't even know what that means. But I used it at the right time. So we have vibration, frequency. I'm setting, so for Mindful Earth, I set a frequency that I want people to be at when they're here. And so that's always been my problem. It's like, I want to accept everybody, but it's not going to work with everybody. And naturally, like, it's like the universe already does a pretty good job. So like, we used to be vegan here, and that pretty much eliminated all meat eaters, right? And then we'd say no alcohol, so that eliminated a large group. Like, just naturally, we didn't do anything other than say those things. But then I realized, well, we actually need to have a free society, totally free, no rules. That's the optimum. That's when nature, the universe, can help with the symbiote. Like, if you, what I've realized is, if you put any restrictions on the universe, like you try and block the river by putting a rule in place, then things don't flow the way they're meant to, and then you no longer have the intervention of the divine. You have to have total freedom. So, and that, here lies the problem, is because you have to have, by having the total freedom, you have to have your community to a state of consciousness where you don't need rules anymore. So when you get to a certain state of consciousness, a certain vibration, you know what's good and bad. You know what needs to be done. You know how to interact with people in a way that is loving. So yeah, it's still, because community living is challenging. So because you have mirrors all over the place, and you talk to them, and they're mirroring you in some way that can trigger you. So having done as much work as possible is essential. So basically, in summary, it's like the more conscious someone is, the easier it is for them to live in community, and also to make the community so much stronger. So that's the first rule of a community, is to raise the consciousness of the community. So I'm just saying, don't have rules, but maybe that's like a command, Yeah. But it's not a command. It's more of a recommendation. That is the number one rule of any community or tribe or city, to raise the consciousness of the people. Because once you raise the consciousness of the people, they start to care, because they understand. They see nature, they see a flower for all her beauty, they see every human for their beauty. So this is our priority. This is all we have to do, raise people's consciousness, give them wisdom, teach them what they really need to know, teach them the truth. Like, don't teach them nonsense. And what we need to do is teach them how to find the truth. To me, that's one of the most important skills humans need to have in life. And if you're not good at seeing the truth, you'll get run down a labyrinth, like a maze, and you'll reach a dead end, right? But that's okay, because that's the learning that brings you back and raises your consciousness enough so you don't see that. You've seen that. You won't fall for that path again. But by raising the consciousness, people can follow the right path easier, because they can see truth from bullshit. And once someone has that ability, it's their journey to discover the truth, but at least they can start to feel what's right or wrong, light or dark, So we need to raise the consciousness of the community. So that means you have a lot of healing and holistic and spiritual like workshops. You just do all sorts of things. Team building, having a party, like just jamming. Yeah, it's like actually everything in community is raising consciousness. It's the natural state, I think. No, community raises consciousness. Yeah, I think that's the second law. Community raises consciousness, or tribes. Connection raises consciousness. And ultimately, that's what we need to do. Is like, why wouldn't all of us raise our consciousness with that? Why would we argue with that? Like, if it's going to make your life more enjoyable. There's so many issues with mental health at the moment. You raise people's consciousness, and I guess what is raising someone's consciousness? What that means is you're giving them light. You're sharing with them a truth of the world. say, like, I'll give you an example. Like, if everyone knew
Ja, genau.
that we're all one,
Ja, okay.
that consciousness
Ja,
is
wahrscheinlich so 4K aufgenommen gemacht.
one thing,
Muss safe 4K.
and that consciousness is in all of us. And so if you could have that experience even, and start to see people for who they are, which is you and me, and like if we could do that on a, like, obviously it's very difficult to remember that all the time, but to remind yourself occasionally, and then over time you start to see people for who they are, right, underneath all the shit that's been piled on top of them.
Du hältst die immer so schön ruhig, die Kamera, und dann machst du mal, hältst du einfach drauf.
So yeah, that takes me to the next step. Is okay, you got different vibration people,
So, ne?
then you have different conscious people. So I like to think that it's a different vibration frequency. So you could have someone who's a farmer, and someone who's a IT professional, right? They're on different frequencies. Yeah. And then you have amplitude, is the level of wisdom that they have. So you can have two farmers. You can have one really wise farmer who's connected with the land, or you have another farmer who's totally disconnected from the land. That, to me, that's a lower consciousness. He knows less about the world. If he knew that we're all connected to Mother Nature, that she's like, if he knew that, we could give him that wisdom, and he would learn it in his whole body. And then his consciousness would expand, and he would become the farmer that did have the wisdom, who would treat the farm, the land, with love and respect. So you have farmers, frequency, and level of consciousness is the amplitude. Yeah. So you've somehow got to get people with all this. So all the farmers, the frequency, and in the same spot. But you can't just select people to, you've got to go to this, there's a community here that specialises in this. You can't do that, because that's not natural flow. You can't tell people what to do, because ultimately we don't really know. So what I've been thinking for a while now is like, okay, well, we can build the guys from the past, like the tribes of the past. Like, how did they organize their tribes? They had thousands of people they had to manage, and so they must have perfected a method for building tribes. It would have been trial and error and natural selection, right? If one tribe's nailing it in all their food and metal production, and like swords and horses, and like there's so many variables they have to get right. So the tribe would be just running so well. And it's like, well, how did they do it? What did they have? But there's not a lot of information on how the tribes are run. There's very little information, actually. So it's like, okay, and I've been looking out for it. And then it dawned on me that there's, like, somehow the 12 tribes of the Israelites came up. And then I went down a rabbit hole of learning about them, because I basically had no idea. Never really been involved in anything to do with Christianity. I did read the Bible for about 3 years after my sister died, every night. But yeah, it never really understood most of it, to be honest. But yeah, the Old Testament, so I started looking into the 12 tribes, and the interesting thing is with each, so I almost like to think of it now as like, they're not 12 tribes, they were 12 clans of one tribe. Like they were a unity. So that was pretty cool. And then that gave me the idea, 12 is like 12 horoscopes, zodiacs. And so maybe they designed a clan system with 12 because there's 12 character traits, character types of people. And then you have, so what you do is you have your 12 clans all around, but they're all connected. There's like free travel between all those clans. So if someone arrives at the tribe and wants to join, and you've got your 12 clans working away with one tribe, I think you would see like an organic movement of all the vibrations. So this clan is vibrating at this level. This clan's doing this one. So the farmers, the fishermen, so maybe farmers and fishermen are the same. The musicians. And then you've got the accountants, the bookkeepers. I don't know, but I think you naturally would have this natural progression to where people needed to be based on their vibration. So it organically balances itself out. You don't have to do anything, but the only thing you have to do is have total freedom of travel between the clans. They have to be fully in love with each other. It must be very like a family. There must be total trust with everybody in that family, even from different clans. Right, so then you've got to have this very, very adhesive, well-managed tribe, because any sort of, what's the word? Yeah, disharmony. If any disharmony between any of the tribes, then it would all fall apart very quickly. So that is a challenge. But I feel if you can get that harmony, then suddenly you have a tribe that works beautifully. So you got the
yeah, it's straight from the tank water. Yeah, like really, really tasty.
Sorry, I'm behind me. Yeah, so you have, by using 12 tribes, which is obviously what they did in the past because it's in the Old Testament, you have 12 tribes, 12 character traits of people. They naturally form into their little clans, and they specialize in certain things. So if the tribe is specializing in raising consciousness, you could have one clan set up as I think it would naturally specialize. You wouldn't be competing at all. You're not competing, right? It's just you're on the same team. You're in the same tribe. So you naturally work out who's going to do what and who's going to do what. But then you can specialize. So if you had something along the lines of